Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to this session on DevOps Live Studies series. So, this session is hosted by the Nigeria Azure community. So, if you're yet to follow our social media channels, please ensure you do so. So, we have our Meetup group URL up on the screen. So, make sure you follow so you can get notified whenever we have any event set up. So you can also follow us and watch recorded versions of previous sessions on Twitch, on YouTube. You can follow our Twitter channel for updates on events that we're putting together. You can also follow our LinkedIn group and our Telegram page also. So some other quick information. We have the session today, which is DevOps Fundamental Training. We have Paul Oyemakinwa, who is a Microsoft Azure MVP, speaking on Terraform with Azure DevOps. It's going to be an awesome session. I'm looking forward to it myself. So, but anyways, we also have sessions that will be coming up next week. So this is it is a whole series where we do a 1 hour study session and on the different areas every Saturday. So next week we have the Azure Administrator Live Study session 3 to 4 p.m. West African time, and a DevOps Fundamental Training on Intro to App DevOps 6 to 7 p.m. West African time. So enough about that. We have an amazing speaker for you today, and I'm happy to introduce him. So we have Paul Oyemakinwa. So Paul, he is a technical lead at a company called Vibe, which is a top Microsoft partner firm in Nigeria. But also, Paul is a Microsoft Azure MVP, and actually, a lot of the things that we're having today, and the man that's behind all of that, that had the vision to put everything together at the beginning was Paul. So there's a lot that the community owes to him in terms of putting everything together to start with. But let's bring in Paul now. Hello, Mr. Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm fine. Are you?
Yeah. Nice to see you again. It's been a while. You've been a very busy man. Right?
It
it's
happens.
it's like the way the community say you're making that Azure money now. It's like
gradually, it's gradually coming.
so really nice. We're really glad to have you with us today. And
Mhm.
if you just want to introduce yourself a little bit to people, and also what we're going to be learning today in terms of this session. So do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure. My name is Paulo Makinwa. I'm a Microsoft Azure MVP, and I'm a technical delivery manager at Rugby Business Solutions in Lagos, Nigeria. And today's section promises to be very, very interesting. It's a section that I looking forward to share my knowledge and share how I use pipelines, how I create branches and use Terraform in building infrastructure. So I'm happy to share my knowledge with the community and everyone that could take time to watch this video on YouTube also.
Awesome. So, Paul, I'll leave you to it. I'm looking forward to the session. Just a quick reminder to people that are attending this. Please leave your questions in the chat window for Paul, and we'll read them out to him as he goes. But for now, over to you, Paul.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Shegun. So this section promises to be more of hands-on than slides. So I'm just going to do a little slide, for people that possibly are very new to Terraform. Just sharing my screen now. So okay. So I believe we can all see my screen. Yeah. So okay. So about Terraform and Azure DevOps, so there are some kind of balancing between Terraform and Azure DevOps. Trying to move my screen, just a minute. Okay, so mostly people have been hearing Terraform, Terraform, and Terraform. So what actually is Terraform? Yeah, so Terraform is an orchestration tool for provisioning your cloud resources. So look at it as your normal PowerShell, yeah, right? Your normal JSON template, your ARM templates. But the difference between Terraform and all of these other, commands that you could use to create infrastructure. Is this Terraform you can use it for almost any of cloud providers. It could be for AWS or Google Cloud. It could be even for your network devices like Fortinet, like so forth. You could use it to almost build anything. So it is more like a command, or possibly a script, you know for that people are begin to get used to. People want to understand it. People want to get used to it because it is is a multi-cloud platform of a thing. You could use it for any of the cloud platforms, and also it has a state file. That is one of the most important thing about Terraform. Why it's different from ARM templates and PowerShell. Now, let me give you an instance. Now, in PowerShell or ARM templates, for instance, if you need to change, let's say VNet, for instance, it means the resources, you need to create the resources again. But in Terraform, it keeps a state file of what you created earlier. So when you're making changes, it's not creating the resources from the beginning. It's just making a modification, of what you did, and it created your resources for you. So it's this is giving people that knowledge and idea that people can make use of this device or this tool, orchestration tool, to create any of the cloud resources, even some network devices also. And you can also use it with Puppet, with Chef, with Ansible, with Packer. You can use it with any desired state and configuration tool and devices. And it's an Archicop configuration language, and it recover from transient error. So if you have an error, you can quickly recover from it. So when you have your TF state, there is also a TF state backup. So there is a TF state backup even on your TF state. So even when you make some little changes, it is easier for you to recover your state back, and your infrastructure resources can keep running the way it should run. So what are some of the common Terraform commands? You have the Terraform init, you have Terraform validate, you have Terraform apply and destroy. Init is to initialize the state. Okay. So when you initialize the state, it's more like you are preparing that state, for people for you to create your resources on you. And validation, Terraform validate is to validate your script in instances whereby there are some syntax errors. It can point it out for you, when you use your Terraform validate. And when you do your Terraform plan, so it helps you plan your deployment, and it creates a kind of a state file. So the state file is what is applicable on your apply, and when it's applicable on your apply, you can execute that deployment. And if you want to destroy, you can delete all your deployments. A single command like Terraform delete can delete all the resources. So how does the structure Terraform looks like? All of this we're going to go into demo. I just want to give a little you know presentation on this, especially for people that are very new to Terraform. Yeah, so in Terraform structure, you have the Terraform, you have providers, you have resources, and you can have backups. Now, the backup ARM, Azure ARM that is here is for remote state. Now, when you do your Terraform init, right, it's going to create a local state for you. Now, the local state is stored on your system, which means any changes you make is on your system. But imagine you have teams of people or teams of developers that are writing the codes, and they are committing the codes, at the same time. All of them cannot have the TF state on their systems. So what is applicable is to have a storage account, okay, and a container, and have the TF state in storage account, and the container also. So which means that any changes that you make, or any of your team make, it's going to be in that TF state. So with that, there's consistency in your codes, right? So that is very beautiful about the backup Azure RM, which we are going to demo, some of this during our demo section. So we have providers also. There are different providers you could have. Azure RM, you have for the service plan, service principal, you have for app app development. You can get all this, from the GitHub for the Terraform. And also you have different resources like the Azure resource group, which creates your resource group for you. You just need to identify or list the name of a name, which is, the resource group name and the location, and it creates that resources for you. Just a simple Terraform apply, it creates that resources for you. The same thing as your app service plan also. So for variables, it is important that you can't, when you have the standard templates, you can't be filling those items one by one. So it's good for you to have a variable. Okay, so the variable, you can use it to set, some files to say, okay, a should equals to 1, or possibly my type should be string, or my type should be integer. All of those things, you can do that from your variables also. And you can also combine templates, and you can get outputs. So let's say you want some specific outputs, you can get you can specify an output, and when it creates the resources for you, it's going to give you a result of that output. And also you can have state for Terraform in it, create a state for it. Like I said, it's good you have your state in the remote state, because imagine you have a lot of people working on the code at the same time. You have a source control. Let's say you are using Git, for instance, or you are using Azure repo as your source control, for instance. Everybody is connecting to the main branch, or is connecting to, let's say, your staging branch, and they are making changes on the codes. It is important for you to have that state file in the cloud, because when you have it in your local system, there will be some kind of inconsistencies, on when people are possibly creating a Terraform plan, and when they're trying to apply, for creation of those resources. And you can also do your Terraform plan, which shows you, plan can show you the state of what you have. If there, for instance, you've made a change, you can easily see it from the Terraform plan that there's a change, and you can apply to it. And you can use it to create that resources is destroyed, or you can update in place, or you can destroy and recreate at the same time. And when you do your Terraform apply or Terraform plan, you can specify an output to say, okay, I want to see this kind of output. Now, when you have that output, you can go to the Terraform apply and use it as an input, because like I said earlier, when you do your Terraform plan, yeah, it's going to give you an output, which is more like, this is the state of your system, this is the state of your resources, right? So this state of your resources, which is the output from the Terraform plan, is going to be an input to the Terraform apply. So for instance, if there are changes in your codes and you do a Terraform plan, is that changes that you made is what will change in your Terraform plan as the output. So when you are doing a Terraform it only applies that changes, instead of recreating the resources from the beginning. And I think that is one of the main benefits that people are really appreciating about Terraform. And you can also do an importing of your Terraform state, or import of the resources to an empty template, or even to JSON templates if you want to. And you can create loops, create statements, and for. Um, yeah, some other features also, like you can create modules, which is creation of usable groups of resources. So when you have, take for instance, you create VMs almost all the time. So instead of having all of the templates in VMs, you can create a single module for the VM, a creation of VM. So just a single command or two lines of command, with the module, you can create your resources. So that is one of the beautiful thing about modules. And for workspace also, you can switch between multiple instances for, especially when you're moving from branches. Let's say you have different branches, and you can move from, let's say, your dev to your staging, from your staging to your production, as the case may be. And for your key vaults, you can make use of secrets. So all of the secrets that you have, you can apply it on your key vault, and then you can, use that secret in working, or you can apply it, to your Terraform for all the secrets that you have. I'm trying to quickly run through this slide because like I said, I want this to be more of a demo section, especially for people that are very new. And I believe people also that are, that are used to Terraform also will have one or two things to learn from this section. So I'm going to quickly go into the demo section. That's about the presentation. So going to the demo section, um, so there's a particular VM that I have. I've not created anything on it, just make it empty so that we can see this works, from beginning up from start to finish. Yeah, so if everyone can see my screen. So this is a particular work event or workspace that I have. You could see from this workspace, I don't really have anything on it. 1 minute. Okay, let's state here. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, this state here. So I don't have anything on this state here. Just give me a minute. Okay, so I could, if you check my control, if I'm going to my control panel, for instance, okay, I think it's a little bit slow. Okay, 1 minute. I think I've not shared the screen well. Hold on. Sorry about that, everyone. Sorry about the little glitch. Trying to present my screen well. I'm trying to go to a screen that I've not opened before, so we could see all of these works from start to finish. So this is an environment that I created for the purpose of this demo. You could see from here, this environment, I've not run anything on it so that we can all see how this works from start to finish. I'm going to go to the program. You could see I don't have anything on it. Yeah, so I'm going to start installing some prerequisites. For me, that's how I used to start anytime I want to write my code. So I start downloading like the VS Code, which is very, very important. I download VS Code. um, going to come here. Like I said, I want to show, I should have downloaded all this, from start to finish, but I want us to see this thing works from beginning to the end. So we could all see this works. So I'm going to get a 64-bit of this item. Then I'm going to, I need a Git for Windows. So Git for Windows, which is extremely important. And I'm going to click on Git for Windows. Let me choose this. Yeah, Git for Windows. And I need, yeah, I need. There's a particular file that I love to use. It's called Makefile. I love using Makefile because it's more similar to the way you have your batch scripts. But what a batch script does for you is you can run a line by line execution. The same thing you have for your make files also. So in the make file, you can specify it line by line, and it's much more readable, easier to read, compared to your batch file. So I love using this make. I'm going to show you how it works. Yeah. So currently downloading all of this. 1 minute. I believe it's beginning to download. No. Okay. Let's download all of this. So this is not downloading. So let's click a direct download. And I'm going to come to the Git here also to do a download also. I'm going to come to, this is, I could run this directly. Okay, this has been downloaded, then it's installing. Okay, so this is installing. I can install this. Yeah, the Git. So I'm installing the Git now. Okay, yeah, third party. Could just click next. Next is okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to come to the make file here also. I'm going to look for um, the source actually. So let me click on the source here. Okay. So I'm going back to the VS Code. I don't know why the VS Code is not running, but let's see. Okay. So let's download the VS Code again. I think let's click on the download of the VS Code again. Okay. Let's okay, yeah, my batch is completed. Then I can click finish with this, which is okay. I can close this. Thank you. Then I can come to my the make file. Like I said, I'm going to show you how this make file works, for especially for people that have not used it before. But I love using it. The VS Code also. I think that's the only thing. I still need some other things like Terraform also to download Terraform, but I want to quickly get all of these very important ones downloaded. Okay. Let's do this again. Let's see. For some reason, it's not downloading. Okay. So let me download the zip file. I guess the other ones are not downloading. So let me just download the zip file for this. Mm, okay. Just give me a minute. Let's give it a minute. It should come. Okay, let's click this. Let's see if something is going to change here. Okay, now for some reason the VS Code here is not downloading. So what I would do is to not to waste our time, I'm going to possibly going to take it from somewhere on my system, then dump it here, so that we can quickly move. Yeah. So I think I have a VS Code in my system. Let me check. 1 minute. Just going to copy that and get that done. But ideally, when I click on that, it should actually download the VS Code for me. So well, I don't know why it's not downloading in this case. But I'm going to just quickly pick a single file in what I have in my download here. Okay, just going to pick it here. I think VS Code here. Mm, okay, hopefully, let's have this copy that. So let me come here and paste. Um, okay, let's paste here. Okay, so ideally, what should happen is, when I come here, I should be able to download the VS Code. But for some reason, it's not downloaded. Possibly antivirus could have caused that. But yeah, we don't want to waste time on this because where we're still going is still a little bit far. So so let's see our download. How is it doing? Just going to. No, I don't need this. Okay. Yeah. So my make file is finished. So the next thing I need to download is my Terraform. Then I can extract it. So when I come here, I could download Terraform. Could just write Terraform download, for instance. So I could, come here, download my Terraform. Okay, I think it's a little bit slow. Okay, so I could come here and download my Terraform. So I'm using a Windows system, so I'm going to download the 64-bit, which is going to download a zip file. So I'm going to save that my system. So it's currently it is completed, so I can open that file. And then what I can do is, when you go to the Terraform page, the downloaded page that I have here. It's a little bit. Okay, so I believe there is something actually blocking my download. Yeah, but I want to show
Yeah.
you, from the
I
beginning.
was thinking, will Chrome help? Because sometimes Internet Explorer they block like this executable by default sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, I'm actually using Chrome.
Oh, okay.
Using Chrome. I'm actually using my. Oh, sorry, I'm not. Oh, sorry.
So
Okay,
sometimes, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, let's do this. Let me just show you, because I think this is taking time. Then I can't I can't be waiting for this. But this is what you should have when you're done. You should have a VS Code like this. I'm just going to create a new version of this so we can see. We can see all of this in action. So I would have loved to show you from the beginning. I'd love to show you right from beginning, but I'm going to, for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to create um, a new folder, for this purpose of this demo, and do all of this from the beginning, so we could see. So all of the prerequisites, that needs to be downloaded, possibly, I could give a guide on how to download them, but it's very simple. Things that you need, let me just open an empty file here. So what you need is, you need a VS Code downloaded, you need Terraform downloaded, you need Git, for Windows downloaded, and you need Azure CLI, which is very, very important, downloaded also. You need Azure CLI downloaded, and yeah, I think those are the most, and VS Code, yes, yeah, I think I have them. So these are most of what you need to, for you to download. So for us to get started, I'm going to create a new open file here. So I'm going to create an open file. So let's say I'm making this Niger section, Niger Terraform section, for instance. So I have this Niger Terraform section, for instance. I could, oh, okay, let me save that. So I could have the Niger Terraform section opened here. So now, so when I have this, the first thing I want to do is to go to my um to go to my my DevOps, my Git. So I could go to the browser. I think I'll to use with this platform. Yeah. But let's see. It's a little bit confusing for me to move between these sections here. Okay, so let's have this open. Yeah, so let's say I want to create a storage account with Terraform. So I could just type Terraform, let's say Terraform, um, Azure, GitHub. I think that's what you just needed. Terraform, Azure, GitHub, and then you can go to the providers here. And then when you go to the provider here, I believe everyone can still see my screen. Can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, we can still see a screen.
Okay, so this very example here is important because when you go to the example here, you see almost every resources. You see it all, everything there. The API management, Azure networking, batch, data lake, anything for Terraform, you see it here. So I can go to storage, for instance, because I just want to create this a plain file so we can see this works. So I'm going to pick the main file and the main file and the variables. So those are the two things that I need to pick. Hold on, let me see. I think there's one other I love using. Now this. Okay, so let's make it much more simpler, so that we can see this works. Okay, so let's pick this. So I could come to the main file. I could do a raw of this, then copy this. Now this is, like I said, just want to show you this working, working for a person that is very new to it. So I'm creating a new file. So I could say just the same name, name.tf. That is the extension for it. So name.tf, and then I'm going to paste you know, um, the the code here, the command here. Yeah. So I'm going back to my same Terraform, my Git also. Then I'm coming to my variables here, then picking all these variables together also, and then going back to my command here. Then I can create another variables, call it variable dot is it variable.tf. Okay, so I can paste these commands here. Yeah, so these are basically commands that you get from from directly from the Git. So now how do you modify this to create resources on on Terraform? So the very first thing that you need is you need to specify your ARM resource group. But like I said earlier, I like using a makefile. So I'm going to tell you what the makefile does for me. So I'm going to create another resources, call it makefile. Okay. So now I can specify to say login, for instance.
Hello, Sapa. Sorry to interrupt. Is it
Yeah.
possible to zoom in a bit?
Let's see. Can I zoom
I
in?
think it's the control with plus.
Control plus. Okay, I'm doing that
Yeah,
now. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's better. Thanks very much.
Nice. Okay. So I can have a login. Then now, instead of you thinking which command am I going to use, all the commands that you need for prerequisite, you can always add them in your, I could say, is a login, to log into my AZ. Then I can have my AZ subscription. If you don't know all these commands, you can easily go to the you can go to the net to get the commands for all of this. How to set your subscription. You can always get them. You can always connect back to them here and pick them. Pick those things from here. Yeah. So I'm going to create. Hold on. Um, Currently searching for how to set the commands. Okay, so I want to set my subscription. So I don't know how to set my subscription, right? So I can go to my this same browser and say, okay, AZ possibly subscription, for instance, set Azure CLI, for instance. Okay, so I can come to here. Yes. Okay, it's going to tell me how to set my subscription. So I'm going to use this to set my subscription. Then I can specify this. Yes, I can specify this one. Yeah, so this is what I needed. So I'm going back to my script here. Then I can set it up. So all of this, instead of you going back to your Google search look for all of those information. You can specify all of them in your makefile. So, and you can run them at once at the same time. You can always specify them in your makefile and then run them, at once. Okay. Um, Before I run this, so hold on. So I can, as the way it is now, I can run it. I just need to specify, the subscription ID. So my subscription that I want to place this to, I'm going to go to my Azure portal. Let me just quickly do it here so we can all see. So I'm going to go to my Azure portal and say portal.azure.com. Then it's logging me in. Then I go to my personal account. Okay. So for my personal account, I could come to my subscription here. Then I have like 3 subscriptions, but let me use this subscription here. So I'm going to pick this name. I can pick this name, yeah. So I picking that name, then I'm going back to my command, then I'm putting all of this. Yeah, so I can put all of this, then I can come again to say, so there is a part to a service principle. So because Terraform is a third-party solution, for you to integrate with Azure, you need a service principle, and the arrow back should be contributor or should be an owner. So I need to know what is the script for that also. So just give me a minute. So I need to know, okay, what is the command for that also. So to make it faster, I'm just going to, pull up all those commands here so we can see, because I think and there are a lot of things to cover here. So the command is Azure AZADSP create the FP. So let me just copy it, so that we can move, at a pace. But these are commands that you need. So I'm going to copy that command from my other screen. Then I'm going to come here to paste. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, these are things that I needed. Okay, to create my um, login. That's. So that's what I needed. And I'm going to come to my variables. So now in my variables is splitted into 2, but I need to bring them all together into one. So what I need to do to bring them together into one is to specify and say, okay, let's say this one is resources. This one is resources, resource, okay, and then this could be prefix, for instance, prefix. So I have my prefix, and my prefix equals to, say, equals to demo, CF, let's say Terraform demo, a prefix. So I could have, say, TEF, for instance, let's say TEF demo or TED demo, TEF demo. And also I can have my location also. Location equals to, let me use not Europe, not Europe. So I would be deploying my resources in not Europe. So with this, I don't need this command here. But there is other thing that I needed. Like I said earlier, this is a third-party system or solution, and you needed a kind of form of a service principle, there. Okay, so sorry, I think I've made a mistake here. So this doesn't have a curly brace, so you have this. Then I'm going to create um, my service principle. Yeah. So the service principle, I've already specified the command here, which is this. Okay, but the output of the command. Now, this is not a best practice because it's going to come out in plain text, to some of things, and I want to apply it directly to my variables. Now, all of these things should be applied directly to your key vault, yeah, because it's going to keep in all these things in secret for you. But because, like I said, I want to show you, how it works. In um, f- just want to show you how it works. That's why I want to do all of this. After this demo, I'm definitely going to clean up before somebody use that code to to hack into my system. So what did I need? I need the same variables. I specify the variables, and then Azure. Okay, I have Azure here. Then I open my curly brace. Then I have a default. Yeah, default. Default, which equals to my curly brace again. Then here I'm going to specify my subscription ID, which is this, and specify my client ID, which is also that, and specify my client secret, my client secret, which is this. Also, then specify finally my tenant ID. Specify my tenant ID. Tenant ID. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I needed, right? So I'm going back to my makefile. So everything I needed, I have them here. Like I said, it's just a start for people that are very new to Azure. If you have time today, we'll quickly go through the Azure DevOps to create most of these resources on Azure DevOps also. So, so this is my makefile. Now, I'm going to use I'm going to use the terminal, which is this, so that we can see all of these things play out. Yeah, so the first thing I want to do is I want to be sure that all of my um, resources that I have is running, or I have them downloaded. Terraform is downloaded, good. Git downloaded, yes. Make, is it downloaded? Yes, it is. And yeah, my VS Code is downloaded. So I think I'm good. Yeah. So what do you need to do? I'm going to do make. Now, when you do your make, the first item here is what you need to run. Anything you see, at the top here is what you run. Now, when you run this, it runs in the background. It runs all of these things for you in the background. So I have a make of login. So when I click on enter, so it's telling me no rules. No rules to login. Okay, hold on. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, let me save that again. So I'm doing a make of login again. Okay, I think I'm making some mistakes here. 1 minute. Okay, let me copy what I have here. It's similar to what is here, but for some reason it's not running. But let me copy what I have here. Just gonna copy that and paste it here. Let's clean this up and paste it here. Now, when you look at it, you discover that it's similar. It's not. There's nothing different, between what I wrote and what is here. Possibly, I could have made some syntax errors here, because when you have it needs to follow a syntax. So when I have it here, then okay. So this is what I have. So I'm saving that again, and I'm doing my make of login. Yeah, you could say it's running now. So possibly, I don't know, it could be a syntax error. So when I do my make login, it's going to, prompt me the same way you always have your AZ login. It logs you into your system. Okay, so I think I need to make some little changes here. Make changes to the subscription ID and the ID. Just a minute. Let me quickly just make this correction. 1 minute. Just copy this. Just a minute. Okay, let me just make changes here. And the subscription ID. Okay, subscription. Then I'm going to pick my subscription ID, and I'm going to come here, and then change it to this. Okay, so let's say that, because if I'm running it possibly on the other subscription. So I'm going to clean this up. Let me exit of this. 1 minute. So it's going to run, it's trying to run all of those commands. So it's trying to, pick my default login. Then it connects to the setup and set my RBAC for me. So I'm trying to clean this up and exit from this because I've not made changes to my subscription and my subscription ID. Okay, so okay, it's terminating. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I'm terminating that. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. I'm terminating that. So let's do that again. Okay, so this time I think it should work. Now, so I'm trying to log me in. I'm trying to authenticate now. So now during authentication, then it's authenticating me. You could see you have logged in, and let's find all the subscription for you in the access. Then it's going to run this next command for me, picks all the, all of my subscriptions for me. Then it has specified this subscription, and it's trying to, create this service principal for me. Trying to create the service principle for me, which it has been created. Like I said, this is not the best practices because some of these things are in plain text. It shouldn't be. But for the purpose of this demo, just want to show you. So I could just pick this tenant ID, come to these variables, and then fill it in with all of these things. Now my secret is this. Then I'm copying that, pasting my client ID is my app ID here, copying that and I'm pasting here. Then finally my subscription ID, which is this. Okay, then I can specify it here. Yes, so that's it. I'm saving that. Then I can clear this. Then the next thing for me to do is to do a Terraform. I think my script is okay. Okay. There are some things I need to check. So this Terraform name is example here. Let me just make it demo, just for us to just to make it a little bit fun. So demo. I'm going to change this to demo also. Demo. Then now when I have my now the var here, you could see when I have my variables, I have a resource here. So it's going to be var dot resource dot prefix. And this one also is going to be demo because I specified demo at the top here. So the other one also is for the location is going to be demo because this is my location here. So it's going to be demo. Oh, sorry, it's going to be demo. Yeah. So scroll, okay, is that all? Yes, that's all. So I'm going to save it here, okay. Then after, I'm going to run my Terraform init because that's the first thing I'm running. Now it's going to, in this Terraform init, it's going to store the state on my system. So this is to initialize the command. Okay, so there is a mistake and in the variable. Okay, the prefix. Okay. There is a mistake somewhere, yeah. Okay, let me do this. I don't want to be dragging us back a little with this back and forth. Let me just show you what I have here. Okay, I'm going to show you what I have here so we could see this work. Okay, let me share this other screen. Let me share this other screen here. So this is the way it is. Now for my variables, you could see I specified um, my variables, my prefix, my location, my tags, which is not compulsory. Then after running my makefile with this script, okay, then I can get my subscription ID with my client ID and the rest. Then and my makefile, which is this. So I could do a Terraform init. Now, when I do a Terraform init, it's going to initiate it for me, which it has done before. Um, so it will is trying to initiate the backend for me again. But you could discover that there's a TF state here. So when you run a Terraform backup here, it's going to create this, this TF state for you and create a backup, something like this, in case there are corruption. You can always recover it back from this backup here. So after running my Terraform initialize, it gives me something similar to this. Then I can do a Terraform plan, which checks for me to see if if this state is updated, or is the updated state, and if not, it updates it. And when I run my Terraform apply, it applies those changes to my configuration. So this is going to run for some minutes, and yeah. Then after, I'm going to run my Terraform apply. Yeah, so that is how to create it, generally with the without the DevOps. So how do you take all of this to DevOps? So with this, I could do a Terraform apply, and it makes all these changes for me. So in Terraform apply, then you can have this run in Terraform apply, and it makes all this change for you. Okay. Now, how do you apply all this in your what's it called now, in your git, like for instance your DevOps? So I'm going to bring up, I'm checking the time. I don't know if I have time to create this from beginning, but let me let me just tell you what I did, the one that I just created of recent. uh do I have time to demo that?
You still can take about 10 minutes. That's fine.
Okay, okay, good.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
let's just quickly do that. For benefit of
I do have
people.
a question here in case you want to take that now or you want to take
Yeah,
that after. Yeah. So
yeah,
the
sure,
question is
sure.
from VJ. So the question is, how does Terraform manage drift? Is the question.
Okay, so when you talk about drift, I think you're talking about what's it called? You're talking about changes, right? So if you're talking about changes, now the what Terraform does is, there is a state. Okay. Now there is a state, anytime you are doing your Terraform plan, there is a state that you have. So when you are making changes in your production, or you are making changes, on your script, and you do a Terraform plan, it discovers that changes that was made and tells you this is the change that you have. Okay. And when it discovers these changes that you have, you can, when you do your apply, it only do the apply or make changes to that change that you made, instead of recreating the resources from scratch, which PowerShell or ARM template would do. And it's even when you make a simple change as the name, it means you need to recreate the resources, from scratch.
Yeah. Thanks very much for that. So please do put your questions in the chat window and we'll read them out to Paul at the end. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll be very fast with this because I've taken a lot of time around, the first one. So this is the Terraform creation of with the Azure Dev Ops. So I have a Git, which is okay. Then I'm going to click on the creation. So creating, I'm just going to copy that script that I have copied here. So I'm going to explain, how it works because of time. So I have this summary. Then I can go to my repo here. Then I'm going to ask credentials. So there are two ways to it. It's either I click on this clone to VS Code, or click on this generate Git credential. Okay. So I'm going to firstly initialize. Then I need to pick Terraform here. Terraform, yeah. Then I'm going to initialize this, which kind of creates, the platform for me. Then after, I'm going to, come to clone here, which gives me this. So I can click on this command here, then I can copy this. So when I go to my Git, I don't know if you can see my Git here. So when I go here, I can do a git or use Control Shift P, which is going to give me this. And you see at the top here, git clone. So I could git clone. So it's asking me which extension. I'm going to put the name here, and then I'm going to click enter. Or possibly, you could do a git clone and put that URL there also. So which I'm doing, and I'm cloning that repo. Okay, so it's cloning it inside my first file, which I don't want to do that. I'm going to possibly create a new open folder for that. Put it in, let me just say DevOps Terraform. DevOps Terraform. Sorry, DevOps Terraform. Then click on that, select, then I'm going to do that again. Let me pick that. I've opened that file. That I'm opening that folder now, which is this DevOps Terraform. Yes. Okay. Don't save. Let me just leave this. Don't save. I have my DevOps Terraform, which is opening just now. Yes. So this is my DevOps Terraform. I can come to my terminal here, then do a git clone, to my URL, which is this. It's cloning my URL. So when you check, you discover that on all my, the commands that I have there is also the git ignore and the readme. You could see them also here. So any changes I make here with my git push and git add commit, you could push it to my repo. Now, so I'm going to, because of our time, I'm going to pick a script that I created. Then I'm going to tell us how it works. So I'm going to go to my let's see, open folder. Okay, let me see. Let me do this because of our time. Because our time is fast spent. I'm going to copy all of this that I have. Open folder. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, let me just pick it from my Git directly. I think I'm having challenges getting it from my repo, from my system. So I'm going to pick this main file that I have. I'm going to download it to my system, and I'm going to apply it on this directly. I'm going to show us how it works. So I'm going to download that zip just now. Give me a minute. Downloading the zip, which is important. It's downloaded, and I'm going to download this makefile also, which is extremely important also. Okay, so my download, so my terraform.zip. Sorry. So okay, let me do this. Okay, so I have my zip file open. So let me delete this. So we can see that. Let's move this. So this is a common script that you see. So I'm just going to explain all of this how it works. So you have your back end. Before your back end, before you have this, you need to have a make file. Like I always said, you have a make file that connects to this. The make file, I'm going to move it now, just now. I'm moving that just now. Moving the make file from my download to my repo. So I have this make file which is copied to my download, to my script. Mm, Okay, so I have this make file which is there. So the make file, like very common to what you see. Have your login which logs in to all of this. Then you can create your key vault with this, which create your resource group just in the same Azure CLI commands that you have. Then you can create your key vault and create your storage account with this. So when you create your storage account and your containers, you don't need to specify your SAS key. So when you create your storage account and containers, from your Azure portal, when you go to your Azure portal, let me just quickly do that. When you go to your Azure portal, you discover that a storage account is created for you. So when you have the storage account created for you, and you have your containers also created for you, storage account. When you have the storage account created for you, I'm going to pick this subscription, which is this. Okay, I'm going to have this storage account, which is this created for me, which is the demo Terraform Niger that has been created already. So when you create it, uh, when you have it created, when you have it created, you can specify it in your back file and your container and your key. So this key is any of the TF state. This is where it is. Okay. So when you have your back end, now the main file, this is more like the script itself to create your VMs, and you can create different other modules here too for network interface, network, NSG, provider, and variables. And then, like I said, your make files also, which is very, very important. Now, when you have all of this, I'll have loved to run all these commands, so that we could see, but because of our time, just showing you what I have and what I've created. Before this, this was a demo that I did before this section. So just going to show you what I have here. So I'm going to my name here. I could go back to the section that I created, which is the Terraform Azure VM that I have created. Yeah. Okay, so yes, this is what I have created, the Terraform, which is what I was showing you earlier, and I have my make file, which is this also. So the staging I did it 3 hours ago. Now, what I did mostly is I always start with branching, so I don't move directly to the production. So I create branches. So because with the branches, you can be sure of what you're doing. When you're done, you can always do your pull, and you can merge it to your master. Then to the pipeline, which I think is the most important thing that people want to see. Now, when you go to your pipeline here, when you go to your pipelines here, it's downloading, it's loading. Okay, so you can specify the name. I can make any changes to this name here. Then you can, they create they then get these sources. So the sources for me is repo, because that is where my files is. So I have the stage environment. I'm not pushing to main. I'm pushing it to the stage environment. Then I can come to this agent pool, to say which did I want to use my hosted agent pool or inherit from this pipeline. So from this pipeline here, I have this agent pool of Ubuntu 18.04. I could use any of this, but Ubuntu is much more faster to create all of this. Then after, you can click on um, install Terraform. It's simple. You just come here, you just type Terraform. It will give you a Terraform tool installer. Click on it. It's going to tell you possibly 0.12, but you don't need 0.12. You can go back to your scripts, and you can possibly check what is the latest um, Terraform version that you have. So for me, it's 1504. So that's why I specified 1504 here. So I'm going to delete this. So I'm going to delete this, remove this. Okay. So after that, then you're going to do your Terraform init. So the same way you have a Terraform init, Terraform plan, and Terraform apply. So for your pipeline, you have plans, and when you get to your releases, you do a Terraform apply. So in the Terraform init, so I use commands there because it is much more easier for you um, to underline, to know the commands to run. If you check, there is a Terraform package here also that you could use. I could use this package if I want to. Click here, then specify, if it is init or validate, or plan, or it could be destroy or validate and apply. Yeah, but I think the command gives me more flexibility, to the command. So I'm using that. Then I have this command run. Now this storage key one that I have here is, I've specified it in my variables. So when I created my client ID, I was talking about the client ID, service principals, and all of that earlier. So when you have that, you put it in your key vault. So when you put it in your key vault, you can link your key vault, um, to your DevOps, and which I did here. Then I can, because this is what I have, the storage key one. Then in the in this script there, I can specify the storage key one here. So this is going to run this command for me. And most importantly, I go to my advanced here, to pick or browse to my working directory, which is uh, the Terraform, because Terraform is one that has all of these commands there. So I have that, which is this. Then after, I'm going to run validate. So just copying, you conclude the task and do this and validate. So validate is simple, just Terraform validate, and then your working directory also must be here. Then my Terraform plan. So for the Terraform plan, it's a little bit long. You could see from the script, it's a little bit long. But the thing is, when you see the Terraform plan, there is an impute here, which is false, which means it doesn't allow you to apply any impute to this command. So doesn't apply any impute, and this is the output. So when the Terraform plan is completed, you should put the output in my TF plan. Okay. Then these other ones, they are the service principal to authorize this plan to run. So I can have my var to this SPN client ID, and my Azure client ID, my Azure client secret, my Azure tenant ID, which, from my variables here, you could see that I have all of them stated here: my client ID, my client secret, my client tenant ID, and the rest. So that is for my Terraform plan. Then I can do an archiving. So which means I need to push this into my artifacts. So how do you get this to the artifact? You need to, do an archive. You can just click on plus and then just write archive here. You see archive files, come in. You can, make modifications as the way it is. So I have this created, and I have my root file, which is this main Terraform, okay, which is going to take all what I have. And the archive type should be tar and ZZ, because I'm using an agent pool, which is Ubuntu. So I need to specify tar and GZ, and this is the Terraform file that is created for you. Okay, and then you can publish using these commands. So you can publish doing this command, then I can do a queue. If I do a queue of this, it's going to give me a success. As you could see, this is green. It means my Terraform plan is working. For my releases, I'm almost done. My releases also is very similar to this. Sorry about it. My releases is very similar to what I have here also. Clicking on that 1 minute. So I can, when I come here, you can complete your artifact here, then come here to specify all of the releases. So my releases is very similar to what I currently have. I wish I have more time to explain. I'm sorry for taking much time, but this is how it works. Possibly in one of these series, I'm going to try as much as possible to take this from start to finish.
Yeah. Thanks very much for that, Mr. Paul. That was awesome. And like you said, I think a lot of people are definitely interested in seeing sort of like a follow up and a continuation of this, and seeing like the end of this. But I think that that's been absolutely awesome. So that's very useful. There's a lot of very good information there. Just one question that we have before we round up for now. So, Yalos, Rabiu, Jibrin asked the question: can we have documentation that shows detailed steps to do reproduction? I think that's what Yalos is asking about. So, is that something that I should advise him to connect with you on Twitter or LinkedIn?
Um, okay. I think what I would do is I'll try to possibly bring up a blog a blog post on this and possibly share that link, for people to see the step-by-step guide on how to do this.
Awesome. I think that that would be very useful. So if we have that also, so Yalos, just make sure you follow the Azure Nigeria YouTube, sorry, the LinkedIn, sorry, um, the Twitter page, and then you'll be able to see the post there. So we'll post that once we get that from Mr. Paul. So again, it's been an absolute pleasure, Mr. Paul. Thanks very much for taking the time to do this. We've learned a lot from this. And again, like I said, we're always going to be looking forward for like the follow up to this because there's just so many interesting stuff to go over. Really appreciate it. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. I hope that you got some very useful information from there. Again, do not forget to connect with us on our social media channels. But for now, we're going to sign out. Have a lovely evening, afternoon, morning, everyone. Bye for now.